Look, I understand the Packers. I understand the Packers fans. I understand the Packers beat writers. I understand all of that. I'm a Michigan fan. And I enjoyed the ass beatings that we used to put regularly on Oh Hell No State. And when Oh Hell No State started winning, I didn't even really have to talk about the refs because it was our fault, because we hired Rich Rodriguez and we allowed him to try to play Big East football in the Big Ten, getting all these small wide receivers and these small, quick, fast linemen, and that's not Big Ten football, and that's why he set the program back 15 years. Okay? But I understand the feeling of watching a team that you have owned and dominated for many years come up, and now they're owning you and dominating you. And I think in the last, what has it been now? The last 7 times we've played them, we're 6-1. I get it. I understand it. You guys used to have a stranglehold on them. Now, in the last 21 times that we've played, it's 11-10. We've beat them 11 out of the last 21 times. So we are leading the series in the last, 10 years? Okay? I'm just saying. And we haven't been great for 10 years. We really haven't. We have been this version of the Detroit Lions for, you could say, 2.5 years. Okay, where you legitimately come in and say, because the Detroit Lions are better than us, this is going to be difficult for us. Before the Green Bay Packers were able to just say, hey, this is a team that is in our division. They're just in our way. Shout out Amik Robertson, because he said this about the Green Bay Packers. He said they're just in our way. That's what you used to say about the Detroit Lions. There has been a power shift in the North. And this is the thing that they are now having to grasp at. There is a power shift. Green Bay Packers fans, and we've seen this on other programs and things of this nature, Green Bay Packers and their fans believe that the North is theirs. Equanimous St. Brown said it on the St. Brown Brothers podcast. The team in and of itself, not just the fans, the team feels like they just have to come out and start the season, and the North is theirs. That's not what's happening anymore. Like I said before, I think for all intents and purposes, yesterday locked up the North. It took us to the playoffs. We have a playoff berth already. But yesterday locked up the North. I don't see any scenario in which we will not win it. Now, there is a scenario in which the Packers will not win it, and that is every scenario available. Because the Packers at 9-4 are no longer threats to win the North. They are third in the division. Okay? Now, I mean, if something crazy happened, like the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings lost out, and then the Green Bay Packers won out, I mean, I guess that is the only scenario in which they could win, and then you'd have to look at tiebreakers within the division. They haven't lost, but I don't know. That would be pretty difficult, right? Because they lost both games to the Lions. They got swept. They've lost their first game against the Minnesota Vikings, so I think they have to play again, right? The Bears are the Bears. They're a non-factor, but you know what? The Bears do have a new head coach. I think that's going to give them a bump this week going in, playing the 49ers. The 49ers are depleted, just like the Detroit Lions are depleted, but I think the 49ers are depleted and defeated. The Detroit Lions are just depleted. It's a different mindset. But we're the kings of the North. And if you don't like it, Green Bay Packers and Packers fans, you must beat us. To be the man, you must beat the man. We are now, as I said, the team that you guys are gunning for. So I'm going to give you some advice, and I hope you don't take it. I was watching, I think it was Armani and Edwards yesterday, and they were talking about how the Green Bay Packers were coming into Detroit, and they were supremely confident. This goes into what I wanted to say about the box score. So let me quickly pull this back up, and let's just go to the defensive box score. All right. Let's see. Team stats, player stats. Let's see. Where's the defense? All right. So let me go to the Packers defense. All right. Xavier McKinney actually showed up on this on the stat sheet. Okay. He actually showed up on the stat sheet this game with 4 tackles, 4 total tackles, 3 assists, and I'm guessing if he had 3 assists, he only had 1 solo tackle. And I think that was the one where he bumped Jameson Williams out of bounds. And as I said, if Jameson Williams had about 2 more yards of field, that would have been a touchdown. Right? So Xavier McKinney had all that to say about not being worried about Amon-Ra St. Brown. And while Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't do a whole lot, whatever he did do was very timely. He got timely first downs and things of this nature. He didn't get into the end zone, didn't have a whole lot of catch numbers. As I said, J-Mo was 5 for 80. He was our leading receiver. Xavier McKinney, talking choppy. The response when Amon-Ra St. Brown was asked by his brother Equanimous on their podcast, what do you think about him saying he's not worried about you, blah, 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 blah. It went on for like 3 minutes with Equanimous trying to get Amon-Ra St. Brown to give some bulletin board material, which he would not give. Tucker Kraft saying all this crap. Now, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Tucker Kraft got his manhood taken away by Trevor Nowatzki. Trevor Nowatzki obliterated him. Okay? Didn't even make the tackle, but he obliterated Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft talking this stuff about getting his hands on Kirby Joseph. He's going to do X, Y, Z. Here's my advice for the Packers and their fans. Respect your opponents, man. Respect your opponents, because the Detroit Lions were called a first-class organization by Jamal Adams. And there's a reason that you can understand that. Obviously, the leadership that we have with Brad and Dan and our coordinators, Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, and, you know, our position coaches, Shep and T. Will, and all these people, right? But the culture that we have in Detroit is a culture of, hey, do your job, put your nose to the grindstone. And what does Dan Campbell say? Put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun, right? Put your head down and go to work. We're not worried about all this outside stuff. We're not worried about it. And he said it after the game. We don't have to talk about how tough we are. We don't have to talk about how resilient we are. We just do it. We live it, right? So Green Bay Packers, players, fans, respect your opponents, man. Stop talking choppy. You don't need to give bulletin board material to NFL football teams. Like, I understand you want to show you have this chip on your shoulder. Again, shout out Amik Robertson. He said they act like they're competitive, but it's a lot of fake dudes over there, pretty much. Pretty much. So just, I mean, it's getting embarrassing, man. It's getting embarrassing. I was looking for Xavier McKinney. I was looking I was looking for him in coverage. I was looking for him to break up a pass, to be somewhere when it came to a pass being thrown in the air. He was nowhere to be found. All he was doing was coming in late and getting assists and tackles. That's 2 games that Xavier McKinney has played against the Detroit Lions in his career as a Green Bay Packer. 2 games he had stuff to say in the beginning, before the game was played on the field. 2 games where he has had minimal to no impact. So, in the immortal words of Eddie Murphy, Xavier McKinney, Tucker Kraft, and anybody else who's talking choppy on the Green Bay Packers, have a Coke and a smile and shut the F up. Kings of the North, baby. It is what it is. If you came for all the stats and none of the static, if you're trying to keep your Lions news pragmatic, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you can get notified when the Motor City Cats are back at it. And plus, you know you can't get enough of the victory buffs.